Community forestry is really about all the plants and trees that grow in an environment where people live. So it could be a small town, it could be a large city. Really, it's about managing that living green infrastructure for the betterment of all of the people that live there. As an educator, I get really excited about community forestry as I teach students and work with communities, because every time they discover something unique about trees, you just see this sort of inspirational light go on in people's eyes. As well as all the scientific benefits, there's this joy that you get just from being around and experiencing trees.
Community forest is a combination of trees, and I know that sounds simplistic, but we all aspire to plant a tree at a time. But I think the value of the community forest and the way it's defined is the notion that all these trees work together, and together they're worth more than any one tree individually, whether it's habitat value, whether it's the fact that they typically grow in a community in nature and actually kind of depend on each other to be successful. There's so much research that shows how much this kind of resource pays back over time. And everybody finds value in the community forest. For you, it might be dollars and cents, given it's such a huge payback in terms of investment. For another person, it might be climate change in the context of the fact that we have a carbon sink here. And then for others, it might be the quality of life and the fact that that's going to enhance our economy over time.
The importance of trees in our communities really can't be overstated. They help cool our houses, they help filter some of the pollution out of the air, they help give us something beautiful to look at. It also can help provide wildlife habitat. The birds that we like to see, some of the insects, the pollinators that we like to see, do actually use trees in our environment.
Land values go up. A tree in your front yard escalates the value of your home in terms of curb appeal. It's been shown if you have trees along an urban streetscape that the businesses actually are more profitable because people want to spend time outside those businesses, and then there's more opportunity to go in the business and spend some money. A really important value of the community forest correlates to ecosystem services. Literally one tree, we've been able to figure out the stormwater management value. We know we can stand under a big tree in a rainstorm and not get wet right away. That equals a benefit for the city in terms of how they manage stormwater.
So the bigger picture benefits for our trees in our communities, really we look at this as canopy cover. If you look down at a city and you see that there are lots of trees covering up our buildings and our cement, that actually reduces the heat that is generated in our cities as the sun hits these hardscape pavements. And that really helps our whole community function better and reduce costs for everybody.
There's a context for incredible value that we now have enough research on to say we know this works and we can quantify it. The more you know about the value of trees and the more you can share that with others, I think the more we realize it's an investment, not a cost.
There's a lot of science that tells us trees are very beneficial, and we can look at numbers, but there's also the way trees make us feel personally. A lot of us have a sort of history with trees where we climbed a tree when we were younger, or we planted a tree with someone. And so trees really can inspire us in an emotional way. And if we think about it, as trees being this sort of awe-inspiring organism, they're capable of living hundreds, sometimes thousands of years and growing up to hundreds of feet tall. And so it's really an inspiring thing to think that this thing we might plant could outlive us by decades or sometimes even centuries.
People can be good stewards of the community forest, I think initially just by planting trees. We owe future generations what the past generations have provided us. There's a famous quote that even if I knew the world were to end tomorrow, I would still plant a tree today. Context of that connection to humanity and the investment and payback of what others have done for us, I think is important.
It's called a community forest for a reason. It's there for the whole community to serve all of us, and we are there to serve it as well. So get outside today and support your community forest. You can do that by planting a tree, by connecting with your community tree board, by participating in a volunteer or service project, or just by telling people why trees are so important. If you'd like to learn more about how you can support your community forest, visit the Nebraska Forest Service today at nfs.unl.edu. Every day when we experience the glory that trees provide us, we experience the legacy that people left hundreds of years ago. And you can leave a legacy today by getting outside and planting a tree.